Welcome to the Homeschool High School podcast, brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. I'm Vicki, and I am so excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects. So, we're going to talk about homeschool transcripts. I know this can be a stressful topic for new homeschooling parents, but once you get used to it, it's kind of a fun game. So, let's all take a deep breath and say to yourself, this is a game. I can play the game and it can be fun. So we do the attitude and it won't be so bad. Okay. Anyway, let me first start out with there's not one right way to homeschool high school. You know that. We say that all the time. And it is very, very true about transcripts. So there's not one right way to do transcripts. Even if you had a kid in a public school, every school's transcript looks different. A lot of the ways they record credits look a little bit different. And so, what we have done at Seven Sisters Homeschool, if you download our transcript package, you'll find the transcript editable format that you can make your own transcript with. You just plug in your course information. And the how-tos are all in there. This is the transcript format that we have used with all of our Seven Sisters homeschoolers, plus all of the hundreds of teens that we have advised at our umbrella school over the years. So it's worked to get kids into college, the military, into trade schools, whatever their next steps were, because it's a clear transcript. It's understandable. So that being said, there's not one right way to transcript, and there's not one right way to decide how many credits to put on the transcript. So, one thing is every single state has a different set of requirements for what kind of credits and how many need to be on the transcript. And that's, it's not uniform because each state knows its population and knows what is best for them overall. And so you'll find some states have much fewer credits that are required. And then if you're in like our Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland area, we have a different set, so a little bit more. So in our umbrella school, we had to take the highest number of credits because we had kids from Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania. So we had to meet the credit requirements for all three states. So our 28 credits is what many of our teens ended up with, or more. They often had more than that. That's the like the upper end of things. But 26 is a good ballpark to aim for. And if your state requires less and that's all you want to put on there, you just do that. Okay. All right. But let's go for the 26 credits. These are the suggestions. And some of these are uniform in a lot of states. Let's see. All right. So the core courses are what are the basic academics that teens need for graduation. And you'll find that most states have the same topics, the same subjects that need to be on there, maybe different numbers there. So in the core courses, you have English language arts, math, social studies, and science. Sometimes world languages or foreign languages are included in those core courses. So this core academics everybody needs to have. In our area and in a lot of states, teens will need English language arts each year of high school. So that's 4 credits in English language arts. And many states require 4 math, some not that many. Most states require 4 social studies, and that includes like American history, world history, but also some social sciences like geography, economics, civics, and even will include psychology, human development, things like that. All right. And then science for 4 courses are needed for a lot of the states on the transcript. Some not that many, but most of them have at least biology, chemistry, and health as sciences. So English each year, teens can cover English language arts as a general studies. They can choose to either kind of take a broad spectrum of different literature and writing styles, or they can concentrate on one topic. So, like if you look at a lot of high school transcripts, you'll see they had a year of American literature where they put their efforts into studying all kinds of angles of American literature. And then they often did their writing that was related to that. In math, most high schools are looking for algebra and geometry, and then it varies according to what the state wants. And if kids are college bound, they may need to go all the way up through pre-calculus. Some states count financial literacy as one of the maths or business math. So you look at your state requirements for that. And then for sciences, we have biology, chemistry, health, and then college-bound kids, they will tailor their sciences according to the majors they're looking at or state requirements. World languages. So what a blessing that we have so many world languages teens can choose from these days and get curriculum or training with online classes. So most states have a 2 credit requirement for world languages. Some states have 3. And so you choose your curriculum and hopefully find a language that your teen can really enjoy and dive into. World becomes a bigger place with these world languages. So that's the core courses, the English language arts, math, social studies, science, and sometimes the world languages are included as a core course. Some states even throw phys ed in as a core course, but most states do require at least 1 phys ed credit. In our area, our teens needed 2 phys ed credits. And so they could spread that out over all 4 years and just do a semester each year. Or they could go over that. So you can always have more credits, so if our athletes or teens who were thinking about being phys ed teachers or trainers would go way over that. And so they would have phys ed electives that they would invest in. Which reminds me, if you want a phys ed, why you study phys ed. So you learn the science and mechanics, kind of the interesting parts of why phys ed's a credit. Seven Sisters has 2 phys ed courses that have videos, to help kids do workouts, but also a textbook that does the whys, and it's written by trainers who are Seven Sisters graduates, like one of our Seven Sisters, Sarah, her sons, who are trainers, have developed that curriculum. So anyway, all right, lots of states require fine arts. So this is beyond the core courses, not core academics, but still requirements for graduations. So many states require at least 1 credit of fine arts, and this can include drama, any kind of art, music, sometimes dance is in there if it's not part of phys ed. Some states require 1 credit of technology. In our area, they had to, which is, I always thought was kind of cute because, kids these days are digital natives. They just born knowing technology. But there are a lot of directions teens can take a technology credit. Like if we had some of our teens who were interested in film, so they studied filmmaking and editing and all the technology ends of filmmaking as their technology, because they already knew all of the technology that they needed for their college goals. So they added some richness, something interesting for them. Some states require 1 to 3 credits of career pathways. That's where teens will choose an area of interest and do some studying in that area. So let's say you had a teen who was interested in being a counselor. So as most of you guys know, in my other hat, I'm a licensed professional counselor, and it's a career that I love. And so teens who may be interested in something like that, they will take psychology as one of their social studies, social science classes, and probably human development as well. And then they may do some apprenticeships or some research papers in that field. So count into literature. So there's ways I can put links in the show notes of developing a career pathway for psychology, which is really fun. So anyway, if a teen was interested in becoming a plumber, then they could start taking some courses at the local vocational training school. Our community colleges have vocational training, and teens could start taking courses like dual enrollment and count those training for career as their career pathways on the transcript. And then 1 to 3 electives. And electives are just things teens might be interested in, just want to explore. So just for fun. So let's say you had a teen who had all the fine arts they needed, but they enjoyed being in a choir. Well, they can count those choir hours as a choir elective. That is fine. Or one of my teens was interested in the history of music that was played in churches, church music, and he just was really interested, and so he made his own credit in studying the history of church music. It was just his thing. He played in the church worship team, so it was being a curiosity to him. We've had teens study, a time in history that they were really interested in, or take extra sciences that they really wanted to learn about just for fun. And so all of those kind of things go into electives that are just there. They're not necessarily required for their graduation core courses. They're exploring an interest. And so it shows, like for a college transcript, it shows richness and breadth or depth, if they're really going into a subject that they are interested in as a major. So that's a way to add sparkle to the transcript. So this adds up to anywhere between 20, 26, 28 credits. A lot of our kids really got interested in things and would graduate with 30 credits. There's not too many credits. You don't have to worry about overdoing the credits. It's just showing off what your teens are doing. Transcripts are a game. You may as well show off it while you're playing the game, right? All righty. So this is the 26 credits that you need. Now, these are suggestions. As you know, there's not one right way. So your core courses for English language arts, for math, for social studies, for science, 2 to 3 world languages. And then the other add-on courses, 1 to 2 phys eds, 1 fine art, 1 technology, 3 career pathways, 1 to 3 electives. You guys, you can do this. You can do this. Transcripts are a game. It's fun. It's serious business. You got to have one, but it's a fun, serious business. Make it your attitude. Your teens will learn to play the game with you. You can have a good time with it and be proud of what you and your teen are doing to get them educated in a way that helps them move on to the next part of life. And if you have any questions, join Seven Sisters Facebook group. So it's Seven Sisters Homeschool Facebook group. And we're there on Instagram as well and Pinterest. But the Facebook group is just a wonderful place to put questions. You can throw questions into the group and other Seventh Sisters will answer the questions. You'll get lots of good ideas from people who are in the homeschool high school trenches with you. And so we like to, as the Seven Sisters, we like to jump in there and help answer the questions as well. So we know that we are all in this homeschool thing together. And it is an enriching and lovely thing to do as a family and to watch your teens become all that God has made them to be. All right. Well, thank you to Seth Tillman for editing today. This has been the Homeschool High School Podcast brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. We will see everybody next week.